I had imagined that the Bills fans would not be a subscriber, but we did get a subscriber off our Bills fans video. So, Denver fans, don't be afraid to like and subscribe. We don't hate you. We just like
Hmm.
to sweep you. It's all it is.
Right.
It's
That's
okay.
it. That's it. And just acknowledge your father. That's all. Just
That's
that's
all
it.
we're asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
complex.
That's it,
And
man.
for one last moment, I'd like to yell "sweep" one more time because it's my favorite thing to do.
Right. And I will grab the dustpan to collect up the riffraff.
Ooh, ooh, ooh,
Pinky out.
ooh. Pinky out, yes, sir. Now for the next team, we've
Oh,
got a we've got an interesting one, I believe.
we do. And it's a Los Angeles team led by a young quarterback who could easily be argued to be in the top five of NFL quarterbackingtons right now. I
Yeah,
mean,
I'd
it'll
say
be
he's
a little
pretty
argument.
consensus top 10.
Yeah, consensus top
He's
10,
top 10
without
at
a
least.
doubt. Top 10 without a
Yeah.
doubt. There's no doubt about it. But some people try to argue the top five, but we'll see what this season holds. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the Los Angeles Chargers, like my boy Marcus Spears. He loved them, the Chargers,
The
and
Chargers.
right, the Chargers, the Justin Herbert and all these boys and Wooda Whams and all the Wooda Whams and all that noise.
Mm,
Let
it's a,
First
it's
game
a,
of the season here, and as memory serves, Miami loses this game because it's Miami. I got the Chargers moving 1-0 on the season already to start off.
and I actually have the Finns to win. Sticking with my AFC East predictions, I like this game for Miami. You got a healthy Tua.
Healthy tuna, yes, sir. So, so the next game we have for the Chargers here, another easy game on the schedule. They play the Tennessee Titans. This should be a rout. Um, I don't even know. I mean, unless Derrick Henry goes for 400 yards, I don't see how they could win this game. Who
And
you got?
I would almost suggest Derrick Henry with 400 yards could still lose this game.
Oh yeah.
That's how lopsided these two rosters really are. I'm also going to go with the Chargers on this one.
All right. So I got the Chargers at 2-0 right now. Moving on into the AFC West, looking good right now. This will create all the hype and stuff about oh, the AFC West title contest. You know how they like to talk about it early.
Hmm.
Kansas City be 2-0, Chargers be 2-0. We'll see what happens. And then week 3 comes along, and then the Chargers have to play the Kings of the North, and this is when the train stops. 2-1. Chargers lose this game to the Minnesota Vikings, without a doubt in my mind.
I actually am going with the Chargers in this one. I believe the Vikings have regressed and are kind of circling the water until they can get rid of Kirk Thuggins. So
Mm.
I'm going to go with the Chargers over the Vikings.
Interesting, interesting. Okay, so as of now, here we got them. Well, I have the Chargers sitting at 2-1. You have them at what, 1-2 or two and
I'm
three and
also
zero?
at 2-1.
Okay, 2-1. Next week they have, let's see, the Las Vegas Raiders. Oh, and this should be a win for them. Well, you know what? Pending Jimmy G,
Pending Jimmy G. Huh.
I'm gonna go with Herbert in this matchup. I'm gonna
That's a
go with
smart move.
Herbert. Pending Jimmy G, I'm moving the Chargers to 3-1. And when the health report comes back, we'll talk about it. We'll see what's going on. But
Yeah,
right
I
now,
mean,
I'm going Herbert.
Jimmy G is obviously the best quarterback option for the Raiders right now. But I'm going to go ahead and say Jimmy G, no Jimmy G. You can add Derek Carr back, and none of these teams are going to put together enough to beat the Chargers. They struggled before they traded away Waller, and I believe after trading away Waller, this is a brighter dumpster fire than we might imagine.
Oh, very well could be. Very well could be. Moving on here. Next game we got for the Chargers is against them boys, and I have the Chargers moving to 3-2 on the season. The Dallas Cowboys pick up a win here against the Los Angeles Chargers. Not even because of the quarterback matchup. I believe Dallas. I mean, well, pending the Dak situation because he plays well. I'm not going to hate on him,
Mm.
but I believe that defense is going to be ready and it's just going to be highly tuned, especially at this point in the season.
Yeah, honestly, this game is a low key defensive juggernaut type game. This should be a good one to watch. And I believe I would bet the under going into this game without even seeing what they think the score is going to be.
And it's prime time, so you can
Right.
always bet on that. Uh, so now that the Chargers are 3-2, they move on to receive their third loss of the season when they play the Kansas City Chiefs. And it's no secret, Justin Herbert plays a good game. It's always a close one. It's always a slobber knocker, but we don't have time for the riffraff. These are Mahomes' days, the Mahomes scheduled hours. He's getting the dub. Chargers move to 3-3.
Yeah, I believe the Chiefs with an improved roster from last season definitely increases the odds. Look, they swept them last year, and I think we will see the same thing again.
Without a shadow of a doubt. Moving on for the Chargers here, the following week we have them facing the Chicago Bears. And now this game I feel is going to be really a highlight slobber knocker, another primetime game, another big game. And I really think that the Bears win this game
Mm.
because they needed more. They need more of a statement. Justin Fields is gonna he's solidified himself as one of the quarterbacks of the future, one of the quarterbacks who need to be in the conversation. He's gonna work. He's working his way there. I got the Chargers moving to 3-4 on the season. Not terrible, but it's just a little bit of a rough start. You're playing some good teams.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to give the Chargers a win here. I believe they lost Justin Herbert at this point in the season, it's just such a better roster for the Chargers. They're not in a rebuild mode. They're in can we actually be a playoff contender mode. And I
Are
think the
they?
Bears are they might win their division just because it's the NFC North, but I don't think they're at least a year, possibly even two, from really being on that Chargers level, in my opinion.
Mm. I don't know. I'm indifferent on that because I mean the Chargers have been bums. They just recently only made the playoffs, so I mean I can understand. Maybe it's just more of the Herbert effect for you.
Yeah, I
Maybe,
think it is. I think
yeah.
I'm leaning more on that quarterback matchup, and that's not to take anything away from Fields.
Oh
It's just
yeah.
her. You got a proven commodity versus more than likely commodity.
Okay. I like how you put that. I'm about to say because yeah, Justin Fields in the right hands. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Uh,
like Fields. He's got potential.
So moving on here, I have you at 3-4, Chargers fans. Like I said, it ain't the end of the world, but you're exiting a rough patch and you're moving into let's test your metal patch. And I
Mm.
honestly think that you're gonna lose this next game to the New York Jets, Aaron Rodgers. I just think it's gonna be too much for the Chargers to win this game. They're moving to 3-5.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with you on that too. Let's also not, or let's also point out this is a primetime game,
Mhm.
and that just is. There's a reason the Jets are hosting it. It's in New York. I'm gonna lean with a experienced quarterback of A Rod as well.
Yes, sir. And fortunately for you, Chargers fans, the next week you play the Detroit Lions. And I'm not saying the Lions are going to be an easy win, but it's a win nonetheless. It's definitely a win that's more than capable of you guys taking. The quarterback matchup for me is kind of similar, even though I would lean toward golf a little bit more because he's actually been to a Super Bowl. So
Mhm. Yeah, you got
I
some
still
points
like the
there.
Chargers in this game. I think you guys can figure out a way to get in, to get the win, to get back on the right track, to move to 4-5.
Yeah, and if you did not watch last season, you might not know this, but I am a closeted Lions fan for whatever reason. And I'm still going to pick the Chargers over the Lions in this game. It's a lot for Detroit to overcome there.
Yes,
Even
sir.
though it is in LA, it is a home field advantage game
Right.
for the Lions.
Oh man, and like I said, rejoice again, Chargers fans, because you get another win. You get two back to back when you play the Green Bay Packers. It's another game that you can win. Jordan Love is rebuilding this Packer team. They'll probably be another 2 years before they're even competing for anything. I got the Chargers 5-5 on the season.
Yeah, this is another game that I would probably bet the house on. And I would probably even go as far as doing that with or without Herbert
Ooh.
versus the Packers. Yeah, that's how one sided this game should be. And I would be very disappointed in Chargers if they lost this game.
Well, could happen though. It's the Chargers.
Mm.
No, but no. Moving forward here, you enter another. Like I said, we're gonna test your metal here. You move on to what I call a primetime loss, and it's not just because you're the Chargers and I don't believe in you become a Chiefs fan. It's just you're playing Big Trust and the Ravens. And I don't see you guys beating Big Trust in the Ravens. I go with the better quarterback, which is Lamar Jackson, by 3 miles. I go by the better defense, which is probably it really is
Mhm.
not as flashy, not as highly touted, but always a killer unit. And the wide receiver talent, running back talent, J.K. Dobbins. I think this Ravens offense is highly, it's going to be potent, explosive. They get the win there.
Yeah, and I believe I actually picked the Ravens to beat the Chargers. And I believe I might have to switch it up. I think I'm going Chargers over Ravens. And
Hmm.
that's probably be my first contradiction of the season. I'm actually going to have to go back and look at the Ravens to see how I picked that one.
Hmm. Next game we have here, Charger fans, is an L, but you're still in contention. You got to play the New England Patriots, and I'm going with the Pro Bowler Mac Jones, and the New England Patriots, newly revamped with new weapons, beating the Chargers, moving the Chargers to 5-7 on the season.
I think we clearly forgot that Mac Jones is a Pro Bowler because Herbert turned it down. Look, this is the Chargers over the Patriots, in my opinion.
Hey man, if the Chargers had a Pro Bowl quarterback, I'd be
Mm,
right there with you.
mm.
But he's
I'm
he's in
sure he
New
has.
England.
I wonder if he's made.
He's
I
in
got to look that up.
he's in New England. So I'm going with the Alabama Crimson Tider, proven winner. I'm going with Mac Jones. The next game though, like I say, there's always reasons to rejoice, fans. You play the Denver Broncos, you get a win here. You know what I mean? You
Yep.
you always pick up another win. When the Broncos are in town, you should be happy. You move to 6-7 on the season.
Yeah, and
Smiles
that
and cries.
it really puts them in a nice position. I believe that actually gives them their ninth win. I've got them 9-4, so that makes it pretty exciting. I think that's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, well, when they end up around 7-7 after this next Raider win, then it'll be, then they'll start getting a little more hype around them. So the next week they play the Raiders prime time. They'll win that game. Like I said, no pinning Jimmy G here or not. I just think it's a game that the Raiders will lose because the Raiders. Um,
Yeah,
and then again, Chargers fans, you get another win because you get to play the Buffalo Bills right after that. So you move to 8-7 on the season, beating Philip Rivers and Stephon Diggs and them out there.
and I think Philip Rivers and Stephon Diggs is actually going to have his Chargers revenge and beat out the the Chargers. Give me the Bills over the Chargers.
Good night. Uh, Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what he's talking about, but it'll be
Mm,
all right. Uh, the next game you got after you get that dub is your last win of the season, and you should rejoice because you're gonna be the only team that has this record, maybe. But you moved to 9-7 on the season after you beat the Broncos, and there's really no talks about that. I'm sure you got the Chargers in this game.
Absolutely. Yell sweep if you're a Chargers fan. Go ahead and type
Yes,
it in the
sir.
comments.
Yes, sir. And then after that, your last loss, and I know it hurts. I know it hurts because you really wanted to move to 10-7, but you moved to 9-8 when you played the champion Kansas City Chiefs. You're probably going to end up playing Blake Bortles, or maybe you'll play
Ooh,
maybe what's the other boy name? Bouchel. I want to see Shane Bouchel
Boucher.
play.
Yeah,
I,
Boucher.
w- I want to see
Bobby
Shane, but
Boucher.
right, Bobby Bouchel, but there it is, Chargers fan, 9-8. It's your destiny. Like I
Yeah,
said, nothing to
and I've got
cringe
him
at, and
slightly.
you might even still make the playoffs,
Mm, maybe.
just like last year with the same record.
And I've actually got them at 11-6, which is probably one more game than I would have guessed going into it. I
Yeah,
really
because you
kind of
gave them
had
that
ten
big
and
trust
seven in my.
win. Yeah, you need to retract that. You know they're gonna lose to them Ravens. Retract that big trust
That,
win and go with your gut.
and that's probably where it's really sitting, to be honest with you, Coach. That's probably the one game that's kind of teeter tottering, and really, yeah, I would say it's fair to say it could go either way. Both teams are pretty competitive.
No, for sure. But we'll see. The Chargers, I still got y'all a healthy 9-8. Like I said, ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with being second.
No,
Because I mean, we know you're not gonna be first. So
yeah, and I don't think 9-8 would get them a playoff spot.
he got
It's
them one
very
last year.
crazy.
Didn't were they 9-8 last year and got knocks?
I think it was actually.
Yeah, I was about
I
to say
think you're
because
right.
I don't
So
think
they
nobody
could
else
still
had
deal
double
with that.
digit wins in our division.
Yeah,
Because you got to
and
think about
I
it,
would call them a
they all holding 2 L's off the strength of us alone.
right. It doesn't help. It kind of puts you in a hole to begin the season, right?
Right, that's what I'm saying. When you get smacked by Big Daddy Pat and Patrick Mahomes is David Ruff. I keep saying all the time. He is Patrick Mahomes, and these are the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, come
Mm.
on now, stop.